Lucasfilm has released a second trailer for The Acolyte, and I have finally gotten around to actually watching it. So I wanted to go over my thoughts on this new trailer in this video. I want to first start off by saying that based on the first trailer that we got about a month ago, I was kind of skeptical about this show. It looked okay, but nothing that really blew me away. But I wouldn't say it looked horrible either. But based off this new trailer, I think it looks a lot better, and I think it sets the tone, that darker tone with the kind of Sith related stuff, a lot better. So I'll get into everything that happened in this trailer kind of one by one as I go through it. First off, we have this Padawan training sequence where they're using these like practice blades, and I think the choreography here looks pretty good. So hopefully that translates into the fights using actual lightsabers with more of the Jedi Masters and stuff. I think one of the most interesting parts of this trailer, straight off the bat, is this line from this seemingly random guy that he doesn't really look like anybody special or anything, but that could just be to throw us off in this trailer. But what he says is that peace is a lie, which, if you know anything about the Sith, that is the first phrase in the Sith Code. So that could just be even more indication that the Sith are going to get really involved here, and this guy could be totally involved with them in some way. We also find out that the assassin was actually the Padawan to one of the Jedi Masters here. So that could be a really interesting personal dynamic between these two characters that we see in the show. Next, we see this Force group of women who I don't think we really know all that much about them, but they seem to be Force related of some kind. And the trailer looks like they're kind of influencing this young Jedi Padawan, and you can see his eyes kind of turn black. I don't know exactly what's going on here, and it might be the trailer just being cut in a way to kind of throw us off. But there definitely seems to be something really, really important going on with this Jedi, or not Jedi, but this Force group of women that we see. Hard to kind of tell whose side they're on, if they're light or dark, or if they're either of them, to be honest. But it definitely seems like there's something really interesting to learn about from this Force group in this show. We see that shadowy figure standing opposite the assassin on what looks like to be Octo, and I certainly think it could be Octo. So we know from The Last Jedi there's some obviously dark Force kind of aura thing going on that planet, so we might be able to learn something more about that from this show, and with those two both being there, I think that's certainly a high possibility. This shot right here looks really interesting because to me it looks like some kind of temple, whether that's Jedi or Sith. Either way, it's Force related with these Force groups, and if you know anything about Star Wars, especially in games like KOTOR or something like that, going into these Force temples, it's always got some really interesting things that can be learned, like Force secrets and Jedi or Sith history that we learn. So it's also interesting that it looks like it's kind of being destroyed, but we'll just have to see what happens there. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have this kind of better look at the dark side user, whether that's a Sith or something else. We see his mask pretty well, and I gotta say the design looks really, really cool. It almost kind of reminds me of Abeloth a little bit, but I doubt that's related at all. But still, just a really cool dark side character design, and definitely a really interesting character. To find out more about what his deal is in this show. Yeah, so overall, I think this trailer does a much better job of kind of displaying a tone for this show than the first trailer did, and I'm definitely a lot more hyped for it now. I kind of mentioned this earlier. I think if this show tries to dive into the Sith lore and kind of go the route of exploring Sith temples and learning more about them, that could be really interesting because KOTOR does that so well, and seeing that in live action would be amazing as well. I think it's pretty clear that I do think I'm more interested in seeing what this show says about the Sith rather than the Jedi. But to be fair, it is called The Acolyte, so I think that's pretty fair. And I also think that a lot of recent Star Wars projects have just been kind of devoid of anything related to the Sith. And I think the Sith are just probably one of the most interesting aspects of Star Wars. So to actually touch on that in a new live action show would be just fantastic to me. That's about all I've got for this trailer. The show does release on June 4th, so it's not too long away now. And like I said, based off that trailer, I am definitely looking forward to it a lot more now. And I'm just going to hope for the best, so we'll see. That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.